Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Salam Media. I'm your host, Takir Dawood, taking you through the next 40 minutes of all things sports. We've got a quick shuffle in the menu, but we're going to be chatting all things powerlifting and none other than one of Joburg's own, straight from Soweto. Powerlifter Nkosinathi Ntuli was recently selected to represent South Africa at the upcoming Africa Powerlifting Championships that will be taking place in Morocco. Let's learn a bit more about him, his max lifts, and how exactly we can help him get to Morocco. Assalamu alaikum, Sohail. Appreciate you taking up the time to join me on the show. Hey,
Walaikum
first time I'm
salam.
interviewing a powerlifter, man.
Jazakallah for having me, man.
Hey, it's only a
Yeah,
pleasure, man.
powerlifters are very rare. It's not a sport that you see a lot, but it is coming up. Definitely, it's coming up.
Hmm.
You know,
Definitely.
um,
We're hearing about you. Come on.
I honestly just recently started powerlifting. I'm fairly new
Hmm.
into the sport. This year from January was basically my first year competing professionally. And I would say probably from 2021, half of it, I've been basically training towards it.
Hmm.
And in 2021 December, I was supposed to compete in the Arnold, but I didn't do it because apparently you needed a qualifying event for the Arnold, and I didn't
Okay.
do that. So I just started January once with powerlifting. I started with the Gauteng Championships, which was basically my first comp
Hmm.
ever, and I did pretty well. I took bronze there,
Nice.
and yeah, it was. I mean, there was a lot of nerves, first time. Luckily, I had a friend that was showing me the ropes, and
Mm.
also under the barbell bullies head coach also showing me what to do, how to do things also, but I didn't basically have a coach with me like on a day-to-day, you know, something like
Mm.
that. But from there, I basically went to um, nationals, competed national at the national championships,
Hmm.
and I took gold there. I think
Yes, sir.
I was much more comfortable there. Um, and I was getting used to the sport. And then from
Mm.
nationals, I basically got invited to compete in Sun City at the World Championships, which happened recently in June, not so long ago. And yeah, that was an experience and a half. I won't lie.
Explain to us,
Uh,
run us through this. I mean, you're telling us a bit about everything and everything that you do, but you're downscaling it. I mean, come on. Firstly, you train with almost no coach. You remind me so much of the tennis player Nick Kyrgios. He went to
yeah.
Wimbledon final without a coach. What a success! And now, I mean, you're telling me you going to the All Africa, I mean, African powerlifting champs, almost without a coach. But firstly, your first lift, your first competition, what was that like, man? I mean, I'm sure the nerves must have been there. You basically new to the sport, if you want to call it that, and to medal
Yeah.
at that event, dude, that's an amazing achievement, man.
So like with powerlifting, it's one thing obviously to be strong. So because I have a rugby background, so I come from a very relatively like strong position, and I've
Mm,
always liked like lifting heavy. And when I like injured my knee in rugby, and then the physio said, "Hey, you're gonna hurt yourself even worse." So I had to stop
mm,
rugby, and then for me, I always had to look for a sport to do. So powerlifting,
yeah.
I started powerlifting, and I enjoyed it because number one, you get to chill in between sets, and it's
Mm,
not so high intensity. You get to take the rest you need, and it's quite nice. And obviously, when it came to your form, the techniques. I had a friend obviously that he also competed. I think he was like 2 or 3 years into the sport,
yeah.
and then he used to like give me some advice, some pointers on how to basically um, you know do the best in the gym. And
Mm,
so he helped me quite a lot. He helped me quite a lot. And for my first comp ever, I won't lie, I was really nervous. I was really nervous, and
mm,
but like for me, it was always the same as rugby. When you stepping onto the field and before you make that first tackle, you always gonna be nervous. You always gonna be nervous. Once you make that first tackle and you the nerves go away. And then it's
Yeah.
the same with powerlifting. You do your first lift, then the nerves go away as well.
And
And yeah, but I like it, man. I love it. And as like I progressed and saw that
mm.
I'm actually doing well with the sport, I loved it even more.
So looking at it, I know there's a few lifts that make up the competition. Well, what are the three lifts that assist you to compete, and which one is your favorite?
So I used to love squats. I won't lie. I used to love squats. We got squats, deadlifts, and bench pressing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to love squats. I was basically squats. I used to be very, very good at it. But over time, I don't know what. It started like I hit a plateau on the squats. But like one
Mm.
thing that excel that I don't like so much is deadlifts. I excel in the deadlifts, but I don't like it so much. And then with bench press is just a steady growth. It's there, it's in the
Mm.
middle. But I think if I had to put it first, I would say it's deadlifts because I excel, and then squats because I'm still quite good at them. And
Yeah.
bench press because bench press is my weakest lift, but nonetheless, I still love it.
Well, you're a very brave man. I mean, you're one of the few men that would say the bench press is their weakest lift because, as you know, gent to gent, we can't say that stuff in public. You've got a big competition coming up. You've got the African Powerlifting Championships coming up in Morocco, and it's our duty as South Africans to make sure that we get you to the games, to fly our national flag high. Tell us more about this competition. How long will it be taking place in Morocco, and when exactly will it be starting?
So the competition is in September from the 13th to the 18th of September. So I've never been to African championships, but it's basically all the African countries,
Hmm.
and it's to see who's the best in Africa, under each category, obviously.
Hmm.
And Morocco's hosting this year, so we all have to go down to Morocco and compete there. You know, yeah,
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna
it
be
is,
interesting.
it is,
It's gonna be
and
exciting.
I've never traveled so far away. So if inshallah
Nice.
it does happen, it's gonna be
I
an
mean, I
experience.
mean, I mean,
I
it's gonna
mean,
be an amazing experience, man. I mean, and now look, as South Africans, we've heard that we've got a little bit of a responsibility on us. We need to make sure that we assist you and help you get there. So your total costs come out to 37,000 rand, more or less. And
yes, sir.
as South Africans, what are the different ways we can contribute towards this? And I mean, how can we go about doing this?
So I started a GoFundMe page, and
Hmm.
if it's possible, would you to share the link, which is one of the platforms like I've been trying to raise money on. And at the moment, we're still thinking of ways that we can, do like a fundraising type of thing in terms of probably selling something, you know.
Definitely. I mean, we could auction off your first lifting belt, where you medal with.
you know. Yeah,
Let's.
and the fun.
Yeah.
The funny thing is with that belt, I can't even compete with it at like an international scale. Like they're so strict that you have to have like IPF approved gear. So yeah, if we have to
Mm.
sell it, we can sell it.
Hey, we need to do what we need to do to make sure you get there. So looking at that, it's equipment, it's gear, it's your flights, it's so many other contributing factors
Accommodations.
that make accommodation that make up that
Yeah.
37,000 rand. And I mean, looking at it, I'm sure you've put a plan in place. Um, how many days before the tournament are you looking to travel, and what are some of the routines that you'll go through once you arrive in Morocco?
Um. So please repeat that question. I just need to hear if I
No,
understand you
it's
properly.
tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky. So knowing that you need to be there in Morocco on a certain date, have you
Yeah.
have you set in stone? I beg your pardon. Have you set in stone what date you'll be leaving to Morocco?
So we were looking at the 11th of September
Mm-hmm.
because the cheapest flights are on that day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, the cheapest flights are on that day when we were looking, checking flights, and yeah, basically that.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And once you get there, preparation for the tournament, you need to acclimatize to the conditions. Anything routines that you need to go through before you head into the competing arena.
So normally for me, like before the comp, we always, as powerlifters, we always take like a week off before the big competition.
Mm,
So the main thing that you work on is number one is making sure that you're in the weight category that you need to be in, right? So every morning, every evening, you're checking your weight, whether you're in the weight category. So you have to
mm-hmm,
check, you know, your eating, all of that. And for me, the main big thing is making sure that I'm working on my mobility, my stretches, and all of those routines because they help me a lot when it comes to lifting. You
mm,
know, your body takes a big toll if those things are not in place. Your alignment comes out, and when you're carrying such heavy weights, you don't want to have your alignment out because injuries are really
mm.
easy. Yeah.
Talking about that, I mean, in the process, lifting all these heavy weights and things like that. You said that you had issues with your knee. How did you manage to overcome that with squatting being one of your most important lifts?
So let me tell you, I went to go see the physio. Né? I still have an issue with my knee. So, but like the physio, when I went to see the physio, she said,
Mm,
it's nothing hectic, right? But like when you're having such weight and you feel that it's problematic. So
mm,
she evaluated the knee and then she said that I must go back straight to training and train underneath the pain threshold, right? So
okay.
that's what I've been doing. It every session that I do, the pain threshold gets less
Mm,
and less and less, and I get to add more weight, and sometimes you know especially when you're training in commercial gyms, like everyone is rushing for the squat rack
the
or
squat
everything
rack.
or
Yeah.
someone's pressure. You know what I mean? I think that day what had happened actually was that I was looking at that squat rack and I was stretching doing my warm up, and when that squat rack opened up, I ran to it, because the gym was full. I ran to it,
Yeah.
and then I think I cut my warm up in short, and as a
Mm,
result, and that day I was feeling really strong. It's not every day that you feel strong, so
mm.
I definitely decided to test myself that day, and but it was nothing hectic, so we're working around that.
Working on it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean, weightlifting can take you to some mentally dark places because it's a you versus you sport. What have you
yeah,
learned about yourself throughout this entire, 2, 3 years that you've been lifting
1 year, 2 years.
and 2021?
I would say that I've got a really strong mental
Mhm.
capacity because when I went to the World Championships,
Yeah.
it was it like you must realize coming from how things to um, provincials to nationals, and basically you're doing good, 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 and then you get to worlds, and then it's like you know, you know,
Yeah. A shocker.
yeah, it's a big shocker. It's like a whole
Mm,
different league. Just being able to understand that there's a lot of work that you need to do, and
mm,
you discover a bigger, bigger, bigger ocean. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
there's a lot of work to do, and it showed me that I need to go back to the drawing board and I'm gonna work more. You know,
Mm,
because when you're here at home, you're thinking, I'm the best, I'm the best, and you go out
mm,
there, yeah, so there's really guys that are good and really strong. And Yeah, basically, like I would say, it made me more hungry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I
No,
want that world
definitely.
champ. Right? To be
Yeah.
called the world champ, yeah. It's one thing to say I'm the strongest in SA, what?
Mm.
But world champ is a whole different league, you know?
No, definitely, definitely. And I
Yeah,
mean, you said with your determination, you definitely go in there. And I mean, it's something
sure.
that we should look at. We're looking forward to it, man. We're definitely looking forward to it. We've got Moideen who sent telling say, well done, and Nkosinathi, may he go from strength to strength. It's interesting to
Exactly,
see the general
Moitin.
public, interacting with
Yeah,
you. I mean, you are a
yeah,
superstar, dude. You are a superstar. We're gonna be following your journey, looking forward to everything that that goes along with this. But look, that's it for now. Back to the drawing board, and let's see how many people can see this interview. I mean, we've got viewers on here, and if you're viewing it, I urge you to please share this video far and wide so that we can get Nkosinathi to Morocco to compete at the African Championships. Come on, guys,
inshallah.
let's do this. I mean, definitely can.
I mean,
Uh, Kusanati, thanks so much for joining me on Salam Media this evening. I really appreciate it. And we look forward to chatting to you real soon, closer to time and closer to your trip. And let's see how everything unfolds, man.
inshallah. Jazakallah for everybody, Dakir. I really appreciate it for
I
all
mean,
the help,
man,
my brother. I mean,
it's only a pleasure. We can help each other where we can. Have a good evening
okay.
further. Good luck with your training going
You
forward.
too.
And we look forward to following your journey, man.
Jazakallah.
I mean, that was Nkosinathi Ntuli telling us about his journey to the African Powerlifting Championships that will be held in Morocco later on this year. He is looking for funding far and wide. He started a GoFundMe page, so check his social media pages out so that we can assist him in making his trip to Morocco possible. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be chatting all things rugby. We don't know who we're going to be chatting to, but we do know we're chatting rugby. We've got the Box taking on New Zealand tomorrow. But before that, we've got the big one. The Women's Springboks will be taking on Spain in their first test in preparation for their World Cup that will be taking place later on this year in New Zealand. Stay tuned to Salam Media. After the break, we're chatting all things rugby.